till the world hears your voice, till you take over the world. I go carry your matter for head, yo. I go day by your side. Hello, good evening, and welcome once again to the Intentional Parenting Chat. I'm not playing my music today, but because I enjoy that music and it connects with me with what parenting is, I decided to give you my version of the song. And you know, sometimes when I sing at home, my children go like, "Mommy, thank God your career is not singing," but that's part of the fun we'll have. And I tell you, you're welcome to the Intentional Parenting Chat. I am Dee Manwobi, your host on the show, and it's a pleasure to be with you tonight. I want to give a shout out to all the intentional and incredible parents who have subscribed to Intentional Parenting on the Go. The feedback I'm getting has been amazing. I salute your courage. I celebrate you for taking charge of your parenting so that you can, predict your parenting outcomes. And so thank you for everyone who have subscribed to the Intentional Parenting on the Go audio program. If you've not subscribed or you're wondering what I'm talking about, you can send me a mail. Intentional Parenting on the Go is actually the most convenient, the cheapest, the most reliable way of receiving parenting training right in the comfort of either your home, in your offices, in your car. Because what this program entails for you is that you get parenting trainings delivered to you in your comfort for an incredibly low price. Imagine getting 52 weeks of parenting trainings with activities that will help you integrate your learning into your daily life. I like to refer to it as the best thing that happened to internet, because I tell you, now you don't have to feel guilty or have to be at a training, because I understand that we have a lot of busy parents, hardworking parents who still want to have access to parenting tools on the go so they won't lose their mind. It is for people like you that program has been designed, and I've been getting amazing feedback from the subscribers to that program, and I want to say thank you, everyone. Tonight on the show, we're going to be discussing how to predict your children's financial future. That is what we're going to be discussing. And earlier in the day, I shared a story about two parents, and I'd like to share the story with you. One is a mother. Her name is Ijoma, and Ijoma, she jerks each time she hears her phone ring. This is a mother of two, and she's 35 years old. But each time her phone rings, she jerks. And you may get curious to ask, why does Ijoma jerk when her phone rings? Ijoma is in debt. She's owing a lot of people. So each time her phone rings, she imagines it's her debtors, that the people she's owing, that are calling her. And so, she has this momentary panic, and she's wondering, when will she ever get out of debt? And the fact she's in debt, it affects her emotionally, it destabilizes her. She cannot even concentrate on raising her children. Sometimes she gets ashamed because some of the debtors will come to our home or to our office, and they're shouting, creating a scene. She's embarrassed. The other day, she was walking with her daughter down the street, and this person she was owing walked up to her, and before she could even utter a word, the lady started raining abuses at her. And one of the abuses that really touched her was when the lady made a reference to say, "You are just owing up and down, disgracing your children. Do you think you're jeopardizing the future of your children? Who will come and marry a daughter of a woman who doesn't know how to manage her expenses?" And it really got to Ijoma. She sat down and she began to wonder, what will she do about her finances and how it is affecting her parenting. That's the story of Ijoma. As I share with you the story of Jegede, I would like for you to begin to imagine what really has happened to Ijoma that she's constantly in debt. It's not like Ijoma doesn't have a thriving business. She's a well-known fashion designer. If you pay a visit to Ijoma's shop, a lot of customers trooping in and out, and I tell you, her charges are not cheap. But somehow Ijoma is in dirt. She's making money, but the money keeps disappearing and is affecting her emotionally. She's currently an emotional wreck and she doesn't know what to do about it. Worse still, that it is affecting her relationship with her children, because the other day, the daughter that was with her when the woman she was owing rained abuses at her is now embarrassed to work with her. She asked the daughter to go out with her the other day and she said, "Mommy, I can't work with you. It's disgraceful. My friends are laughing at me. The other day I was in talk in the class because someone was walking by when Mrs. Ade came to rain abuses at you, and I don't want to be associated with a mother who cannot manage her finance." And that's the story of Ijoma. I shared with us the story of Jegede. Now, Jegede's own is a little bit pathetic because Jegede is a man of 47 and he has 4 children. The thing is that every week Jegede has to attend a deliverance session because he believes that some arrows sent to him from the village or some people following him from the village are the ones resetting his bank account to 0. He has a striving job. He's very hardworking. He has a fat salary. In fact, he has bonuses. His bonuses are the equivalent of salaries that some people earn, and they are still making ends meet. So Jegede is confused. What he keeps hearing is that there are some forces in the village that are pursuing him, and so he spent at least 3 hours every week with this particular deliverance minister to walk out through the curse that he feels is upon him. So with these 2 scenarios, what do you have to say to Jegede and Ijoma, and how can they get out of this financial mess? It's important that as parents, Bridget says deliverance indeed for bank resets. Yes, my sister, that's what it is. Because he's trying to understand why he keeps losing money, why he makes money, but at the end of the month he doesn't have anything to stay for it. And it's not like Jegede is living a flamboyant life. It's not. So what can really be the cause? And why I'm bringing this up on the intentional parenting chart is for us to know that our financial decisions not only affects us, it affects our children. And it's not affecting our children just because maybe we will not be able to pay school fees, or maybe we will not be able to reach some needs for them. No, it's affecting even their own financial lives. So for every decision you make as a parent, you're predicting whether your children will be successes, whether your children will be failures in their own lives. So what are you teaching your children? How are you going to prepare a child to take financial decisions when you as the parent is in a financial mess? I was discussing recently with a parent, and he shared a perspective with me that baffled me. This was a man who is well-to-do, in the sense of well-to-do, living in a good home, having fleets of cars. But he said to me something that, shook me. He said to me, "Dima, I don't pay my children's school fees until they send them back from school." And I just looked at him because I kind of have some insight into his financial standing. And I went like, "So why do you do that?" He said, "I want to teach them that money is hard to come back." Now wait, before you say, "Oh, that is a wise father," let's look at the other side of it. Are there better ways he can teach his children financial intelligence without having to put the children through the trauma, through the emotional stress, through the disgrace of being called out in the assembly, being called out in the class for non-payment of school fees? He said to me, "Dima, when the school sends them home for not paying school fees, I will now go and pay. And with that, they will learn that it's not easy to make money." While I understand what he's trying to do to his children, I do not really think that he is doing it the right way, because there are other ways to teach your children about money than just to set them up for disgrace. Now imagine if you were that young boy living, and those children were in secondary school. You kind of know the lifestyle around your home. You kind of have some understanding that your parents can pay your school fees. Now imagine when your name is called out and you're disgraced for not paying school fees. I mean, you're damaging your child's self-esteem. You're damaging the child's confidence. You're teaching him, yes, about money, but you're not teaching him with the right way. So as parents, we need to be conscious of the financial decisions we are making. So for the case of Jegede and Ijoma, I like to say that they need to first of all get to understand why their finances reset to 0 per time. You know something, if you want to solve a problem, it's not just enough running from pillar to post. You need to spend time to investigate what is the root cause. The money resetting to 0, she making sales and not still running into debt, they are just symptoms of the problem. They are not the real problem. And so they need to investigate what the problem is. And I'll tell you that the first point of call to start the investigation is to check their background. How did their parents deal with money? What were they taught about money? How was money issues handled in the home where they grew up from? It's very important that we know that, because sometimes we're mirroring the spending habits, we're mirroring the money habits, we're mirroring the money decisions that our parents made unconsciously. They never called us to say this is how to spend money, but because you were raised by them, you saw how they took money decisions, and that's how you're taking money decisions until you meet a superior knowledge that can change that. So for Ijoma and Jegede, and for as many parents who are in a financial mess and are wondering how they got here, I will say that you need to do an investigation, and that investigation starts from your home of birth, starts from the adults in your life. How did they handle money? At a point in life, I came to understand that I was so security conscious. I wouldn't take the money decisions. I wouldn't take, excuse me, I wouldn't take, financial decisions because I didn't want to leave my comfort zone. And each time I tried to take that, I wanted to tread cautiously. I wanted to be able to, really calculate what I'm doing. But I didn't know I was mirroring my mother. Many times when I was growing up, I didn't really see my mother make calculated financial decisions. She was always erring on the side of caution. She wouldn't do something, she wouldn't throw herself out there and take a daring financial decision. I also grew up in a home where, my father was the major financier of the family. So my mother didn't really cut a teeth in money making. She didn't really take money making decisions. And though I said to myself I wanted to be an independent woman, I wanted to have my own money, it was just lip service. I wasn't living it. Somehow I couldn't make financial decisions because I was just mirroring my mother. So for Ijoma, she might want to say, how was her mother dealing with money? How was her father dealing with money? What was the financial lesson 101 that she learned from home? So you as a parent, you need to understand, look, your money decisions are important. It's not just about being able to afford the things that your children need. It's about being able to raise an empowered child. Your children may not be able to make financial decisions any different from your making right now. And one of the things you need to quickly do, if you are a parent who is at that point where your finances are always resetting to 0, you need to do something about it now. Even if not for yourself, you need to do it for your children, because you might just be replicating the same circle and your children will be in the same debt. Let me tell you something. I believe in prayers, and I know that there's nothing that is impossible without God. But for Jegede, beyond the deliverance he's going for, he needs to understand what money system does he have in place that ensures that his finances reset to 0 every month. And these are part of the trainings you're going to get as a subscriber to Intentional Parenting on the Go. What Intentional Parenting on the Go is to help you become a wholesome parent such that you can raise wholesome children. And I want you to know that, don't get sentimental here. A lot of people get touchy when you say that money is important in raising a family. Someone once said that the rich also cry, and I guess that statement is made in defense to say, oh, don't be so pushful, or it's made from a place of security, it's made from a place to make it look like riches is something. But I tell you something, it is more comfortable to cry in a limousine than it is to weep on a bike. And there's no sentiment about it. You need to understand that your money decisions is determining the kind of children that you're raising. And one thing you need to know is that the money decisions you're making is determining the lifestyle you can give your children. A lot of you might want your children to attend certain schools, but if you look at your financial standing, you cannot just go and you cannot enroll your children in the choicest school you may want them to go to because you can't afford it. And so you are shortchanging the future of your children. I heard a word from Ajiolu Akinyemi recently, and it really made impact for me. He says, why you need to pursue your finance as a parent is so that you can give options to your children. And that is very profound for me. For Jegede and Ijoma that are at this point where they are in a financial mess, what options can they give their children? We hear of children who have died from common diseases, from treatable ailments, just because their parents could not afford it. So you need to be able to make financial decisions for your children. And I tell you, the financial decisions you make can give options to your children. It determines the kind of school they will attend to. It determines the kind of health care they will get. It determines the kind of environment you raise them in. And as I always share on the show, on the nurturing principle of parenting, environment is very important. So what is the word I'm giving to Ijoma and Jegede today? What I'm telling them to do first and foremost is to investigate where they got their money making beliefs, where they got their money patterns from, is to get to the root of the matter, extray the decisions, unconscious decisions they have made in the past, the attitudes they've adopted towards money, the language of money they have, and a lot of things. And this calls for in-depth investigation starting from their homes. And I would like to encourage you, if you are in a financial mess, and financial mess is not being able to eat 3 square meals, it's being able to create a lifestyle of options for yourself and for your children. And so Muyiwa said, my mother taught me poverty. I am a teacher's son, and I am intentional to do otherwise for my daughters. Fantastic. Muyiwa is a parent who has decided to take responsibility. So for Jegede and Ijoma, it doesn't matter if it was their parents that handed them those money patterns that make sure that their resources reset to zero. They can take the decision like Muyiwa did. Muyiwa is a son of a teacher, and he said all the life that was modeled to him by his mother was poverty. He constantly heard the language of lack. He constantly heard how the family couldn't afford this, how they couldn't do that. But today, he's doing differently for his children, and you want to do that for yourself. The Intentional Parenting on the Go audio program affords you an opportunity to enhance your parenting skills. It affords you the opportunity to, recreate your life. Because I tell you, what it takes to parent children are the right resources, the right skills, the right tools. And with the Intentional Parenting on the Go, we're delivering this parenting training to you right in the comfort of your homes. I think it's an opportunity you shouldn't miss. What will it pay you to subscribe to Intentional Parenting on the Go? Number one, you're going to get 21st century parenting solutions delivered to you in the comfort of your homes. You're going to get convenient, easy to apply parenting answers to your troubling parenting challenges. You're going to belong to the exclusive Intentional Parents Club, where we will teach you how to maximize your life, build wholesome lives so that you can raise wholesome children. And all of this for 52 weeks of parenting training sent to your inbox. You're getting it for just 10,000 naira. I mean, if this is not the best thing since the internet, I don't know what it is. So you really do not have an excuse. You really do not have an excuse to say, oh, my children will not have options, because right now I am giving you the option on a platter of gold. For just 10,000 naira, you can become a subscriber of the Intentional Parenting on the Go and receive parenting tips on the go right in the comfort of your home. Isn't that the most convenient, the most reliable way of parenting? You can change the story of your children. Your parents may not have been able to do so much for you. Your life may not be what you want it to be, but you can decide and predict the financial future of your children by taking a step today to subscribe to Intentional Parenting on the Go, where I'll share with you parenting trainings that will help you develop and become the resourceful parents that can make empowering and informed decisions such that you can raise your children with ease. And this is the Intentional Parenting Chat. If you have contributions, questions, or comments on the show, please send me a mail on the email address attached to this video. I will be expecting to hear from you. And if you have any parenting challenge that you want for me to treat on the show, I will be expecting you to send it to me. Remember, nothing happens by chance. Muyiwa here says there is a money blueprint that is generational, and you as the parent can choose the money blueprint for yourself and for your children so that you can predict how your children will turn out financially. Thank you for being with me on the show. I remain Dean Manwobi, your host on the Intentional Parenting Chat. I come your way again on Wednesday, where we'll continue our series on how to predict your children's financial future. If you learned something in this video, if there's something fundamental you would like to share with other parents, please click on the share button, because as many parents we can empower, that is how fast we can transform our society. Thank you for listening, and I want to have a date again with you, same time, same place, on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Bye.